going to start with State's Exhibit 475 here. You have your little TV in front of you as well, Detective. So on State's 475, what are the two addresses that are identified on this map?
5059 Verbena Drive and 600 Delphinium Boulevard.
And the 5059 Verbena address, whose residence was that?
The Hicks residence at the time.
And then the 600 Delphinium, what was the significance of that address?
It's the Lanz residence at the time.
And despite the Lanz residence having a Delphinium Boulevard address, what street did their driveway come off of?
On Verbena Drive.
And then the Hicks' residence, where is their driveway located?
On Verbena.
And so that where I'm indicating the two driveways on Verbena?
Yes, that's correct.
Now, since we are going to see some footage kind of further up the street, I want to look at State's 476 here. I know it's not pinned, but do you also still see 5059 Verbena and 600 Delphinium?
Yes.
If you travel north up Verbena, were there any other addresses of interest where we will be seeing surveillance video?
I believe 5064 Verbena Drive is visible in that, just out of the curve.
Okay. Right here.
I believe so.
Okay. And so it's on the opposite side of the street as our two primary residences.
It is.
Okay. And then kind of to really get our bearings here, looking at State's 477 here, what is the major roadway that these neighborhoods or this neighborhood is off of?
Bells Ferry Road.
Okay. Now from Bells Ferry Road, can you take Larkspur to get onto Verbena and make it down to the two addresses of interest?
Yes, you could.
Okay. And then is there also a way to access these addresses from Delphinium Boulevard?
Yes, Delphinium runs directly off of Bells Ferry.
And are those the two primary entry and exit points for Bells Ferry?
Yes.
And then finally, jumping ahead a little, we will be looking at video from 581 Delphinium. Where is 581 Delphinium?
581 in this image is at the corner of Dahlia Way and Delphinium Boulevard.
Okay.
And in this image on the upper or the northern side of the roadway.
Okay, and so is this where I'm pointing right here?
Yes, that is 5.
Okay, and so kind of similarly, despite that it has a Delphinium address, where does its actual driveway hit?
On Dahlia Way.
And going back just briefly to State's 477 here. What is it? Oh, here we go. Okay. Although it's not marked, is this tiny little cul-de-sac?
Yes, that's Dahlia Way on the north side of the roadway.
Okay. And so if you cross Dahlia Way, can you make it back out onto Bells Ferry?
Yes.
Now that we have our bearings a little bit here, and I should go back briefly. We look at State's Exhibit 475. What residence is directly across from the Hicks' residence?
5050 Verbena Drive has a driveway that is directly across the street from the 5059 Verbena Drive location.
Is that one of the videos or one of the homes that you also obtained footage that we will be looking at?
Yes.
So now I want to move forward to the surveillance clips. Your Honor, do I have permission to start publishing these clips? Yes. You may proceed. Settings. So looking here, starting at the very beginning, was there footage that you were able to review and analyze showing that Hicks actually arriving home on November 17th of 2021?
Yes, my initial video analysis was conducted on the video from 50/50 verbena.
50/50.
And that footage, having been obtained, was on a drive, and it appeared to be a camera that stored the footage on a SD card. And from that SD card, the files were visible. And so I began reviewing, and 1906, I believe, was approximately the time when there was a vehicle, truck, that arrived at the Hicks address.
And how many individuals came out of that truck that arrived there at 1906?
There were 3 individuals, 2 adults, and a child.
And when we're saying 1906, is that 7:06 p.m.?
Yes.
Okay, very good. So we will begin by publishing States 465A. That was the entirety of A. I should ask you, Detective, the timestamp that we can see in the bottom right quadrant of this video, was that an accurate timestamp?
I believe so, yes.
And Your Honor, while it's probably less pertinent for this video, it certainly would be helpful in the other videos if we turn down the lights a little, because the lighting can be difficult. Really, just the ones near the TVs would be great.
Keep going.
There we go. All right. Next, we will publish States 465B, which is a continuation. 465C. And states 465D. Stop states 465D at 45 seconds. The timestamp on the video being 19:019:47. I'll go back once more to start states 465D zoomed in on the Hicks's vehicle. I'll stop that at 32 seconds, the timestamp on the video being 19:019:34. Detective, was this, did you have any other footage of Justin, Amber, or Jacob alive through your analysis?
No, nothing that would actually, you could physically see them and it appeared to be them.
Nothing that shows they're a person.
Correct.
From there, what was the next time that you saw relevant video surveillance? What time frame?
The most relevant for the investigation was at 21 or 9:21 p.m.
And before we get there,
I apologize. At the residence or any
anywhere.
Okay, so 9:20. Yes, in the 9:20 hour.
And in military time, is that 9:21?
21:20. Yes.
Very good. Before we get there, let me show you one other image. States 480 here. Do you recognize States 480?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and how is it that you recognize States 480?
This is a printout of a digital image that I produced for the purposes, and I felt it was important to have a daylight view of the camera view that we were able to obtain from the residents across the street from the Hicks residence, only because it kind of emphasizes the point we don't get to choose the camera placements. We don't get to choose what equipment is used, and we don't get to choose how someone chooses to cover their property with cameras. And in this case, it's unfortunate that This camera was on the interior of a home, behind double pane glass and a screen shooting out, covering their driveway. And for their purposes, for those residents' purposes, that was probably what they wanted in order to cover their property, maybe vehicles that they leave in their driveway. But it did create difficulties, and so I created this image to show a daylight view of the challenges of this video.
So this time statement is to tender states 480 into evidence.
Any objection?
No objection.
States 480 is admitted.
Sorry to be lying into your test, but if we can, thank you. So just so that we see before getting too much further here, states 480, is that the video footage or the camera angle that we just observed in states 465A through D?
It is, and this obviously is a daytime view with probably the best lighting, early morning light, depicting the actual, another indication was to show some of these, what was in the background, some of the landscape, some of the shrubbery, some of the trees, because in the nighttime images, they are very, very difficult to depict or to pick out of the images.
And so this kind of speckling or pattern that we see overlaid on this image, is that from the screen that you described?
It is from an actual screen mounted on the outside of a double pane window, and this camera is actually somewhat kind of pressed up against the interior glass. What this doesn't depict is that at night, when there's ambient light from inside the house, actually on the extreme outsides of this image at night, there are additional challenges because of ambient light from inside the home, reflecting back against the glass captured by the recording.
And were we able to kind of see some of that in the footage that we observed A through D?
We will, yes, we were and we will be
And we'll
seeing
continue to,
that, yes.
Now, was that as detrimental to A through D showing the Hicks ride home?
It was not because of the abundance of light produced by the headlights, produced the fact that it's a large vehicle arriving, that lights were automatically turned on. The garage door ambient light is coming out into the driveway, so that creates a much clearer ability to see.
Will we see more difficulty as we go through the other footage?
We will.
All right, now kind of going back briefly to your expertise in this area, given the thousands of hours that you've observed surveillance footage systems, do you have a keen eye for things such as movement or objects or persons?
Yes.
And to be clear for the court, in terms of any persons seen on any of the following surveillance clips that we're going to show, are you able to definitively make any form of person identification?
No.
Are you able to see human beings?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so if we can switch back over to the computer here. We will continue with States Exhibit 465E. Now before, let's see, I'm going to pause it first at 00 on the video. The timestamp of the video is 21:20 and 20 seconds. Now that timestamp that we see in the upper left corner of the video footage, was that an accurate timestamp?
Yes, it was.
And this view that we see here, I'm not going to switch back to the map right this moment, but where was this home located?
5064 Verbena Drive.
Was that the residence that if you traveled north on Verbena, you would see it on the
Opposite
right
side of the roadway from the Hicks and Lanz residence, yes.
All right, very good. And so on this image where I paused it, we can see a roadway just past this this residence's driveway. Which roadway is that?
That is Verbena Drive.
And if you see a vehicle moving on the screen from right to left, what direction would it be headed towards?
Towards the intersection of Verbena, on Verbena, towards Delphinium, which is a four-way stop.
All right, very good. And I think this video is about a minute and 47 seconds here. What is the purpose of this clip in State's Exhibit 465E?
I just wanted to check yes. I was checking the name of the clip to make sure. But yes, this is a combined clip from both this camera initially here at 5064 Verbena and then at 5050 Verbena, showing the continuation not only of the first vehicle we will see, which was the Lanz vehicle, and the two following SUVs, which I believe continued on, and the reason for showing 50-50 in combination with this was that the two SUVs continue on Verbena Drive.
Okay, so ultimately, how many vehicles are going to drive past the camera at 5064 Verbena?
3.
All right, and then how many vehicles do you see past the camera at 5050 Verbena?
2.
What is the only intersection between 5064 Verbena and 5059 Verbena that Hicks' residence?
Delphinium Boulevard.
And so would the first vehicle that you see on past 5064 Verbena have to turn into either a residence or onto Delphinium to miss the 5050 camera?
Yes.
All right, so if we can now go ahead and publish State's Exhibit 465E. I'm going to pause the video with a timestamp of 21:20 and 29 seconds. We will talk about headlights and everything in just a moment, but first to play this through, is this the first vehicle that you indicated, the first out of the 3?
Yes, this is a dark sedan, yes.
And we'll talk about that in a minute, but just to play it through. Pausing it with the timestamp of the video being 21, 20, and 40 seconds. Is that the first SUV that follows the suspect vehicle?
It is.
Pause it again here with the timestamp of the video being 21, 20, and 52 seconds. Is this the second SUV following the suspect vehicle?
It is.
Now pausing the video at 21, 20, and 50 seconds. What camera have you now switched to in this combined video?
The camera located inside the upstairs window of the residence at 5050 Verbena, looking out over the driveway and the street.
And so looking directly across the truck there, what driveway is that?
That is the Hicks residence.
And then you can see at least a little bit of light here in this kind of area. What residence or street number is in that location?
Well, that is in the direction of the Lanz residence. It's 6. Located with the address that's off of Delphinium. However, the driveway is located on Verbena.
So don't necessarily know the property line, but is that the next property you get to? The 600 Delphinium from 5059?
It is.
So we'll continue to play this. We'll then circle back to it in a few minutes. Pausing the video at 21, 21, and 11 seconds. Is this one of the SUVs previously seen passing 5064 Verbena?
Yes, I believe so.
Now pausing the video at 21, 21, and 26 seconds. Is that the second SUV that passed the 5064 Verbena address?
Yes.
That is the entirety of States 465E. Now, I know I've referenced the first vehicle. We've referenced it both as the Lanz vehicle as well as the suspect vehicle. Did you have an opportunity to look into the headlights and taillights of Mr. Lanz's vehicle?
Yes.
Okay. Was that vehicle brought to Cobb County Police crime shed?
It was at some point, and I simply requested that we make some photographs, hopefully from both ground level and elevated positions, simulating the height of the cameras on these residences.
So backing up just a little bit, at the time that you were able to do this, did police have custody of a vehicle known to belong to Mr. Matthew Lanz?
Yes.
And what type of vehicle was that?
I do not recall the make and model.
That's okay. Was it SUV, sedan, truck?
It was a sedan.
And did you, when you went back while this vehicle was in police custody to take photographs, talk to the court a little bit more about your purpose in photographing the vehicle in terms of lighting, height, and so forth.
In the past, during some of the training that I've received, there had been the usage of, or the detailing of headlight signatures potentially being utilized for the purposes of understanding what vehicles are entering access or egress to an area that may be pertinent to any particular investigation. This is a technique that I had used in the past in Cobb County investigations. And I felt that it was significant in this case after I had noticed in playing back this footage and the footage from 581 Delphinium Boulevard, noticing some differences in the headlight pattern that was cast upon the ground by the headlamps. This is something that occurs particularly with older vehicles because over time we all know that we'll potentially have a headlamp go out. And when that's replaced, it may not be replaced with an exact matching headlight from the other side of the vehicle. It may be a different strength. There may be things that have occurred to the vehicle's body, front end, even slight bumping into a curb or into some fixed object may change or alter the position of a headlamp as it shines onto the ground. In this case, I had seen something that I felt like I wanted to see if it was recreated when we had the physical vehicle in the custody of the police, and I requested that they seek a warrant for the purposes of bringing that vehicle into a darkened area on our police campus at the time. And then I asked that a photographer have a ladder present where we might be able to simulate the height of these cameras that were mounted on the eaves of these homes, both on the home on Verbena, when I had found the vehicle I believe to be the vehicle coming into the subdivision towards the scene of this crime, and then both on Delphinium Boulevard, the home that where the vehicle was leaving the area later. I was seeing something that I believed I might be able to identify.
And I know we haven't gotten to all of the surveillance clips yet, but in addition to seeing a particular vehicle, did you see some movement and changes in lighting in the same time period that were of interest to you?
Yes.
And is that part of why this particular vehicle stood out to you in all the surveillance clips?
Yes.
And is that what then led to taking these photographs of Mr. Lanz's vehicle with dark lighting on the police campus?
Yes.
All right, once again, I know you already looked at these photographs prior to taking the stand, but they were not numbered, so I'm going to pass it back to you. This is states 642 through 656. You'll make sure you recognize those.
Yes, I recognize states 642 through 656.
Are these fair and accurate photographs of Mr. Lanz's vehicle that you had taken for purposes of observing the headlights and taillights?
Yes.
State moves to tender states 642 through 656 into evidence.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor, we've had an opportunity to review those.
Thank you. States 642 through 656 are admitted.
May I publish, please?
Yes.
So looking first at 642, is this the Matthew Lanz vehicle?
It is.
All right, state 643 here. What specifically were you capturing in this photograph?
Just a view from behind the vehicle as its tail lights are illuminated, the tag light illumination, and the front casting of the headlights.
And then looking at state 644, is this a zoomed in photograph showing the taillights?
It is, yes.
Looking at state 645, did you have someone inside the vehicle for purposes of using the taillights?
Yes, to illuminate, to confirm there was a third tail light that illuminated when the brake pedal was depressed.
Then looking at state 646, what are you showing kind of from the side view with the brake lights initiated?
Just a different angle.
Are we also seeing that in states 647 and 648?
Yes, it's really about the angles that may be presented in the surveillance footage, and making sure we have known images that were made by the police to compare those two.
Next, looking at 649, what area of the vehicle are we now documenting?
Attempting to document the cast on the ground of the headlight, what I refer to as the headlight signature.
Okay, and what was it of note? And I know this isn't the best image, but we do have some digital ones that we will get to. But what is it in particular that you were looking at? I believe I brought you the pointer if you'd like to stand up.
I have somehow messed it up, but let me.
That's okay.
Yes, if I may. Just this area, almost forming what looks like a V, but no distinction on the opposite side.
Okay.
Showing a similar pattern.
Is this, looking at state 650, is that another image of that V mark created on the pavement?
It is.
All right. State 651, did you take additional angles or photographs of the vehicle.
Yes, I believe this one is obviously a little more direct onto the side, but also at a slight elevation.
Can you still see that V mark?
Yes.
All right, states 652. Again, is this a different angle?
It is slightly more towards the rear of the vehicle, slightly behind, looking down.
Okay, and can you point out that V shape again?
Yes, absolutely. It's projected here on the ground.
All right, and if you'll just stay standing for a moment, so 653, another angle, yet are you still able to see that V shape on the pavement?
Yes, it's becoming more defined at this point.
Okay, States Exhibit 654, is this a higher angle?
It is. This is from an elevated position on all that.
And are you still able to see the V shape?
Yes, it's very distinct.
Okay, State 655, and finally 656. Do you continue to see that V shape despite changing the angle of, or the height and angle that the photo was taken?
Yes, this was an attempt to see if that was reproduced at various angles.
Now, in order to fully conduct this comparison, did you also take still shots of the suspect vehicle from the surveillance footage?
Yes.
Okay. Prior to testifying, did you look at a folder on the master drive labeled screenshots of suspect vehicle headlights from surveillance video?
Yes.
And were the images, I believe it was the 10 images contained therein, fair and accurate screenshots that you personally took of the suspect vehicle from the various camera angles?
Yes.
At this time, State moves to tender State's Exhibit 685 into evidence, and for the record, the 10 screenshots within are labeled A through I, so it states 685 A through I.
Any objection?
We just check to be sure what that is.
No problem.
Yeah, so don't switch over to the screen quite yet, that way I can pull it up. There we go.
No objection, Judge. Those are some that I saw earlier. I just wanted to be sure that they were the same.
Thank you. States Exhibit 685, labeled within 685A through I, is admitted.
All right, may I publish those images?
Yes.
And are these images kind of easier to see digitally as opposed to printed, Detective?
Well, I believe so, yes.
So first publishing States Exhibit 685A. Which vehicle is this screenshot of?
This is of the Lanz vehicle.
And so all the 10 images that are contained in this folder, is this all the Lanz vehicle?
Yes.
Okay. And so here, which camera angle are we looking at?
This is the 5064 Verbena driveway camera covering this residence's driveway.
And the timestamp of this screenshot, if you will, please.
21, 20, and 29 seconds.
And in this screenshot labeled A, are you able to see that V shape on the pavement?
Yes.
Can you please point that out for the court?
Certainly. It's just here on the pavement, just in front of the, primarily the left side headlight.
Okay, so the driver's side headlight.
Yes.
Now looking at States 685B, is this the same Lanz vehicle?
It is.
All right, and so the timestamp, is it actually the same exact timestamp as A?
Yes, just a frame further.
And in this further frame here in States 685B. Can you point out that V shape on the page?
Certainly. It's occurring here.
Next, looking at, whoops, my apologies. 685C, what have you done to take the screenshot in 685C?
Cropped out some of the side information for the purposes of potentially putting this into a presentation form.
Okay, and are we going to get to that as well?
Yes.
Okay, very good. And so you still see that same V shape?
Yes.
All right, if you'll point it out, please.
Certainly. Just on the left side, headlight on the ground, cast on the ground. Okay.
Looking at states 685D, what is it that you are capturing from this screenshot that also has the timestamp of 21/20/29?
The same. These are a series of images that I was utilizing for the purposes of potential use in presentation, determining for my purposes which one I felt most comfortable.
Okay. Are we also seeing the same in states 685E?
Yes, a little less prominent in that angle.
Now looking at 685F, and I know we haven't gotten this far in terms of the actual videos, but what surveillance system are we now looking at?
581 Delphinium Boulevard. The residence that their driveway sits off of, Dahlia Way. This is actually Delphinium Boulevard, and this is the front yard of that residence. And my interest in this particular house was, number one, I noticed the camera, and I knew it was a high-end system, just based on the camera. The placement of the camera and the position that this house was built in was one of the shortest distances for a front lawn to the roadway. And so this became a primary home of interest for my understanding. This was actually the first video that I acquired because I believed that the point of access and egress to the crime scene was most likely on Delphinium Boulevard at the time. And so I chose and selected a large block of time from this residence to review and examine.
And in that large block of time, is this timestamp here, where it has 10:11:29 p.m., is this the only time that you see the suspect vehicle captured on this surveillance system?
Yes, it is.
All right, and if you continue the direction that this vehicle is driving, what intersection do you end up at?
This is Delphinium headed out of the subdivision for the travel of this vehicle, the next intersection. Other than any side streets within it would be Bells Ferry.
Okay, very good. And here, were you able to see that V shape casted onto the page?
Yes. This would have been some of the, I think I already testified, this was some of the earliest video that I acquired after the 50/50 Verbena video. This was where I first noticed this headlight, what I'm referring to as a headlight signature, where the signature cast by the headlights in the vehicle appeared to be distinctive enough to identify one vehicle from them.
Looking now at 465G, is this an additional frame of that same camera angle?
It is.
Do you still see the headlight signature?
You do, here just in front.
And I need to relabel this because this is actually a second G, so I will relabel that and put that on the record once it's relabeled. But is this actually just a cropped version of 685G?
Yes, in fact, that would probably indicate this is the image that I utilized for presentation purposes and another.
And then what's currently labeled, and again, I'll have to switch these by one letter, but 685H, is that the same Lanz vehicle?
It is the same vehicle, a little further down the road, looking at the back end of the vehicle.
Does that capture the tail light?
It does.
And finally, what's currently labeled is I. What are we looking at in this screenshot?
vehicle has applied brakes, indicating, and this shows that the vehicle did have a third taillight, position of the third taillight, which in some cases can be different.
And zooming in there, does that further depict the third additional taillight with the brakes applied?
It does.
And is that part of why when you had photographs taken of Mr. Lanz's vehicle, you had the brakes applied?
It is, for the fact of anything that might be unique or different in the known images from the images captured in the video, the homeowner's video.
Okay, very good. Now, again, prior to testifying, going back to the presentation that you created, in order to further look at these headlight signatures, did you also take screenshots of other vehicles that passed by the 5064 Verbena Drive address?
I did, yeah.
And prior to testifying, did you look at the folder that was labeled screenshots of other vehicles from surveillance video?
I did.
And were there 4 images contained within that folder?
I don't recall the number. But
Okay, but did you look at all the
Yes,
images?
I did.
Okay, and are all those images screenshots you personally took?
Yes.
All right, at this time, State moves to tender States 486 into evidence.
No objection.
I'm sorry, 686. I apologize. Numbers are not great.
That's the 686. Right, 686 is admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I publish this?
Yes.
And those 4 images are labeled A, B, C, D. So looking first at 686A, is this a different vehicle captured on 5064 Verbena?
Yes.
All right, does that have any sort of V-shaped headlight signature?
It does not.
Looking at State 686B, is this a different vehicle from Mr. Lanz's vehicle captured on 5064 Verbena?
It is.
Okay. Does this have a different headlight signature, meaning not the V-shaped headlight signature?
It does have a different signature than what I was looking for.
Whoops. Looking at 686C, how do we know this is not the Lanz vehicle?
We do not see the headlight signature that I was looking for.
And then finally, 686D, is this one of the SUVs we previously saw in States 465D?
It is.
And did that have the headlight signature that you were looking for?
It did not.
All right, now going back, did you create a comparison between the known images of Mr. Lanz's vehicle and the screenshots of his vehicle captured on the various surveillance systems?
I did.
And what was the purpose of creating that comparison?
I prepared that for the investigators, the primary and secondary investigators of the case. Generally, there are times when some of my concepts and some of the things I think of to do for casework, maybe it's better that it's seen, my work is seen, rather than try to explain it to them. And so there are times when I try and make it very clear.
For the visual learners.
For the visual learners.
All right, very good. I'm going to show you States 479. Do you recognize that 2-page document in States 479?
I did.
All right, and how is it that you recognize it?
It's a document that I produced as a PDF file for the investigators and for their case file.
Very good. State moves to tender States 479 into evidence.
Any objection?
Let me just get clear here.
That's the second page too.
No objection, Judge. I gave those previous.
Q States 479 is admitted.
May I publish?
Yes.
So looking at this first page here, have we previously seen these 3 screenshots?
We have.
Okay. If you will walk through from left to right each of these screenshots and where it was taken from.
Certainly. From left to right, the left image is a known image made under search warrant at the Cobb County Police headquarters at the time, 140 North Merritt Parkway, in a dark portion back in a area where there are buildings on either side. It creates a kind of a dark pocket to capture what I believe was the headlight signature that I could identify in surveillance video. The next image was the arrival of a vehicle with, I believe, a matching headlight signature at on November 17th, 2021, approximately 21:20 hours. And this is captured, the middle image is captured from the 5064 Verbena Drive residential surveillance system. The final third image is from later on November the 17th, 2021 at 10:11 or 22:11 and 29 seconds from the residence at 581 Delphinium Boulevard.
And so looking at page 2 of States 479 here, what is it that you were able to determine in comparing these 3 screenshots?
A matching headlight signature for each of the residential videos that were acquired from the scene, and the known image, matching the known image made under search warrant by the Cobb County Police with the vehicle in custody, the known vehicle of the Lanz vehicle. And then thereby showing access into the area, or ingress into the area toward the crime scene and egress from the crime scene post-incident, and thereby narrowing a time frame for this incident.
So going back to States 465 now, I want to play States Exhibit E again. Now, in addition to observing the headlight signature that you just walked us through, what else was of interest to you once the camera view switched to 50/50 Verbena? If you want me to ask another question,
I'm going to need you to repeat the question because somehow I got lost.
That's okay. On this clip here, so we're going to start on E. The first camera from 5064 Verbena. Do you see the headlight signature?
Yes.
Okay. Once the camera, that you've combined, once it switches to the 5050 Verbena Drive address, do you see that headlight signature?
I apologize. I did not follow that. You do not.
Okay.
And that was one of the purposes of producing that clip, that work product.
Now, do you see any other lighting that was significant to you once you're at the 5050 Verbena Drive camera?
It's difficult to say, but they're in sequence. Those vehicles traveling down the roadway. There appears at one part of the before the first SUV that would have been following the Lanz vehicle comes down the road, there appears to be light that goes off into the shrubbery.
Okay.
Behind and to the north side of the target property, which was the Lanz residence.
If the vehicle, the Lanz's vehicle that we see driving down Verbena at the earlier part of the street, what side of the road do you then see some of the reflective light?
On the right-hand side of the road.
And is that the same side of the road where the Lanz's residence is?
Yes.
Is it possible that you may have that same sort of reflective lighting if someone were to be pulling into the Lanz's driveway?
I believe it would be, yes.
Now, is the Lanz's driveway captured at all on the 5050 Verbena camera?
It is not.
All right, so we will now replay States Exhibit 465E. I'm going to pause it here. With the timestamp at the bottom of the screen being 21:20 and 49 seconds, we are now at the 50:50 Verbena Drive camera location. If you will stand up, and when you see a little bit of that reflective lighting, indicate that for the court. And I know it's hard with lighting here. We'll go ahead and resume.
Just there. You can see back in this area, so several frames before that. When you, yeah, so there it is occurring.
Oh, whoops, I think I pressed play again. Hold on, let me go back. All right. So we're going to resume it at 21:20 and 51 seconds from 50:50 Verbena.
Just there.
And the timestamp there is 21:20 and 54 seconds.
It is.
Do you continue to see that at 21:20 and 55 seconds?
You do.
Does that continue up until 21:20 and 57 seconds?
Not quite.
Okay, just shy of that.
Yeah, well, actually, now you're seeing a similar pattern, but we've reached a point, and having noted in the earlier video with the 3 vehicles passing, in this same clip that we're using, the 3 vehicles were passing 50-64 Verbena. The front vehicle is, I believe, the Lanz vehicle. The second 2 vehicles are SUVs. The first vehicle behind the Lanz vehicle is approximately 8 to 10 seconds traveling behind. And so when this clip starts, the first part of the clip is actually still occurring when this clip starts. So what I'm trying to indicate is that the vehicle's progression, as 8 seconds later from the time we see those lights, approximately, we should see an SUV passing by, if in fact, potentially the Lanz vehicle turned in or pulled off at the driveway of 600 Delphine.
Again, we'll continue on from that point and play the remainder. I now want to look at state 465G. All right, the timestamp, at least for the very beginning here, what is the timestamp where this video clip starts? So this is 465G.
21:30 and 1 second.
We're going to jump ahead a little bit to about 21, 31, and 30 seconds. But what is it that you were capturing or focusing on during this clip?
I believe this is a clip that when I first noticed movement, and I believe a person traveling onto the property, the Hicks property.
And do you see any sort of lights or reflections that were important to you later on when we get to some other video clips?
Do I see them now?
No, not now.
Oh,
That's okay. Do you see some changes in lighting coming from the Hicks' residence during this clip?
yes.
Okay, we'll go ahead and play it, and we will end up circling back once we get to later video footage. I'm going to, for clip G, we are going to skip to 21:31 and 29 seconds. And if you will, indicate to the court when you see some of the activity on the screen that was significant to you.
There.
I'm going to stop it at 21:31 and 36 seconds. All right, and what is it that changed on this screen?
Well, the backyard, there's lighting that has come on in the backyard.
And we've had images as well as some testimony about floodlights at the sensor floodlights at the Hicks' residence. Is that what's being illuminated here in 21:31 and 36 seconds?
I certainly believe it is, yes.
Now, do you see any associated movement in the same area?
Yes.
If you will, as you see that movement, please indicate that for the court as it's difficult to see.
Here in this area. In this area.
Stopping it at 21:32 and 9 seconds, can you point out for the court what's noticed in this frame?
In this frame, this is later determined. I determined this to be a Nest camera that was probably utilized by the family simply for live viewing and was not recording at the time. However, I believe this is a signature of the infrared illuminator for that camera, for covering a porch area that's a side entrance off the garage to the residence.
And as we get kind of further into these clips, do you do a similar comparison looking at that infrared reader and later clips that we'll be viewing?
Yes, I do.
So we'll circle back to that in a little bit, continuing this video. And again, if you'll just point out any movement that you are able to see. Now here I'm going to pause it at 21:32 and 28 seconds. Do you see any additional lights come on?
Yes.
All right, and what light or what area of the Hicks residence do you see the additional light?
I believe that is actually the front doorway or front porch area and lighting from that location.
Now, are you also aware of any censored floodlights at the front of the house?
I don't recall.
Certainly, did you see any movement come across the garage or anything like that?
I did not. I was aware in reviewing the video that these seem to have been triggered at times by maybe vehicles or activity out on the roadway or what would be the front yard of that residence. So I suspected they were censored. Yes.
All right. But nonetheless, did you see any movement go in front of the garages towards the front door?
No, I do not. These are the garage doors, and I did not depict any movement across there during this time frame.
For these particular lights that you see illuminated, is it possible to either be motion censored from something on, what is this, do you recall the street name there? Madonna maybe, or?
Yeah, I don't. The pronunciation, I'd have to not visualizing it to pronounce it. Yeah, I knew it started with an M.
Passing U states 475.
Yes. Menarda.
Okay.
Menarda Way, yes.
So could that have been some sort of activity on Menarda Way that triggered the lights?
It could have been.
Okay, likewise, could it have been actually someone inside the Hicks residence turning on their front porch lights?
It's entirely possible too.
Was there anything based on the timing of these lights being illuminated in the front of the house that would have told you one way or the other if it's a human turning on like a light switch versus it being activated by sensors?
Not for me. Reviewing the video now.
We will continue on.
Here. So, the,
Just pausing it at 21:32:45.
a prior question was, at any point when I say
Absolutely.
movement, for me to identify it or stop you. You actually begin to depict some movement back here, and this is actually a person. Coming out of the, if you'll think back to the daylight images, the shrubbery that was here on the Hicks property, basically coming around the shrubbery from the side of the house, and now entering onto the grass area between the landscape, shrubbery, and the road.
Okay, and then we'll continue on.
And then now onto the roadway and away from the residence. And because of what I had mentioned earlier, this area here, which is, we're getting some ambient light. You can tell that there's ambient light from the room that's creating this reflection back into the camera lens. The recording is picking this up, and so it becomes more and more difficult to depict that movement moving up and out of the area, or vice versa coming into the area.
And we'll continue on just for a few seconds here.
Still movement.
And do we kind of lose movement at
Yeah, I
this
believe
point?
that's the extent of what I could see is back to this area.
And so we've stopped it at 21:33 and 13 seconds. I do want to go back momentarily to 21:31 and 34 seconds, this time using the zoom function. So we'll resume this video. And again, that was at 21:31.
Yes. That's when the movement occurs in the backyard. Initially here, it's depicted. As this clip plays, we'll actually see some object passes between the source of light, the floodlights, close enough to create shadow briefly, very briefly, in this area and across the spectrum of this light. But at this point, there is someone in the backyard moving, and then they'll move closer to the light source, creating some shadowing, and then they will move out of the light source in this area and toward the side of the house, the garage side of the house, where there's a porch or a doorway.
Alright, so we'll continue on.
There, the shadowing had just occurred, moving closer to the light source, causing a shadow. And now moving towards the side of the home. The sensor for the backyard will kick off. The sensor for the side door infrared illuminator will kick on. Front lights have initiated, and now we begin to see some movement here on the shrub line, and now we'll see someone, a person, moving out across the grass to the roadway and moving up from the home towards 600 Delphine.